July the 9th, 2023. As you're looking at the National Weather Service, most of the activity that you see is in the Oklahoma area now, coming into Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana. It's going to move across Mississippi in the south today. That and along the northeast, they're expecting severe weather, large hail, damaging winds, possible tornadoes, heavy rain, all of the above. Now, the problem with that is if you lose power, it's going to be another hot day. We've got a break from the heat here. We topped out at 111 real feel yesterday, but it crept up slowly because of overnight rains. It wasn't instant. But remember back a couple weeks ago, we hit a heat index of 132. Now that's it was miserable here. And when you combine that with your power going out due to a storm, or in one case, if you remember, trees fell across our line the first time when I first got out of the hospital. And then the second time down the road from here, the main power station caught on fire and burned up some of the big equipment there, and they had to replace that. And it is tough in the heat and humidity. At that time, we relied on our small Ryobi fans. They're like 8 inches long. They run on a battery, the Ryobi batteries, and they'll run a long time. And the two small ones, the 8-inch ones, actually set on a 5-gallon bucket of water. And I'm going to show you a picture of that before this is over with. And it has a pump on the fan and a fan. So you drop the tube down in the bucket, and it's got 2 misters on the front edge of the fan that are adjustable. And it's really good if you're outside or for your pups or something like that, or if you're just sitting outside and want to cool off the atmosphere around you, then you can do that. It's excellent. But after that, I ordered a new, larger Ryobi fan, and I'm going to show you something about that before the video's over. Anyway, I wanted to mention that because I've been through it in the last 3 weeks since surgery, twice. And it's not anything you want to go through, especially the elderly and the very young. And because it makes life tough, you can have heat strokes and you can die. And there's a lot of people that happened to a few weeks ago in that major heat system that was setting over much of the southeast. Now, over in Arizona, guys, we'll look at the temp maps. You're still in that extreme heat warning. But right here, again, in this area, we're going to have to watch it, and it's going to move across the southeast. Now let's look at the forecast map and the warnings. Here in the Oklahoma region that I was talking about, you're starting to see severe thunderstorm watches. See that right there? That's right here. That's how you code that. In the Phoenix, Southern California area, you are under excessive heat warnings. In this bright purple, you've got some red flag warnings going on here. You've got heat warnings all the way up into northern Idaho and eastern Washington. See that? Coming right across here. You're starting to get some storms building up along the northeast. This is going to increase with the heat of the day, so pay attention to it. In Phoenix, with that much heat that you're dealing with today, and as many people that are there, and you remember, was it Lake Mead supplies water to 30-something million people in this area? So the reservoirs are up. That's good from all the rain. But when this type of heat happens, you have the rolling blackouts and power outages, so that makes that area extremely hot, and it's about the only thing you can do is find some water to get in. And let me say this, there's a few glitches on the national weather map. One of the ones that we use quite often, one of the features, is the ability to click on your area and get more localized information, localized radar and things like that. So we're going to do it here, and I'm going to show you something that's happening today. Now, this is accurate. It's issued July 9th, and it's a slight risk of severe storms, possible damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour, hail up to a quarter size. But if you come down to the radar, let's check this out. And I've refreshed the browser a few times. This is the exact weather we were getting just after dark last night. And if you notice your timestamp here on the 8th, it hasn't went to the 9th yet. And I said, this is amazing. Nothing's changed overnight, but it's bright and sunny here now. So they're having some problems with glitching. And not only that, guys, I think they're getting some funding problems because of some of the other issues I've seen. Not sure about that, but I think we are dealing with In other words, what I've seen in the last 10 years as far as certain space links, certain satellite images, magnetopause images, weather images, is that things that the people like you and I, that we're not weather specialists or anything like that, but the tools that we could use to see for ourselves and point out things like solar flares, that's being taken down, either defunded completely or taken off the public viewing. They just don't want us to know a lot of things. Now, this is just probably a glitch. This is from Jackson, Mississippi, by the way. But again, this is not the weather. Has not been updated. Now, let's look at the local radar in the Oklahoma area. You can see Fort Worth, Dallas to your south here, but your severe thunderstorm warnings are here, and they're going to be following this bow right there. See that? So here's Longview, Shreveport, Denton, Oklahoma City is here. It's approaching Little Rock, Arkansas, Fort Smith. You just saw some rain. And the lighter green is flash flood watches, and the darker is flash flood warnings. Then your light images here are the severe weather. But that's what we got going on. Back this out a little bit. You can see going up into Missouri, you got some storms there. This is what I was talking about, that's going to move into the northeast over the Appalachian chain, and they're already starting to see some weather problems along this. Probably some small craft warnings once this gets closer to the ocean. So think about that on a beach day or a boating day today. Make sure you're aware of that. And some of this right here, I want to pull this up to South Mississippi. This is going to be moving into the Mobile area. Again, small craft warnings and advisories more than likely will be out before this. But if you can see this type of information here, even without a marine warning, as you know, if you're a boater, and we are boaters, especially in the, we really like the Orange Beach and Perdido areas in Florida. But this is not anything you want to play with. It's not pleasant at all. There's a possibility of lightning hitting your boat and a possibility of getting capsized. So just be careful with what you're doing today. Always be a step ahead of the weather. If you don't, it will catch you off guard. And with the weather anomalies that we're seeing this year especially, take nothing for granted. Now, something else I want to point out here is coming in the northwest, guys. Look at the smoke building up again from the Canadian wildfires here, and it's streaming all the way down into the very Midwest, now central U.S. Check that out. So that's going to be building up over the next few days. Also, we're having, and this is going to combine with the smoke in the southeast, is the Saharan dust layer clouds that are moving across the Atlantic. And that's one of the reasons we haven't seen any storms in this first month of hurricane season. Now, if we scroll up into the 3 states in the southwestern section of Canada, you can see the smoke build up here. Very thick. It's kind of starting to look like what we saw a few weeks ago as it combined like this between these two fronts. And New York, you almost had no sunlight. You guys remember that, I'm sure. But anyway, we got this coming in. Now let's switch to the Atlantic view. You've got Africa to the right. And if you see this lighter version, it's right in this area, like a big finger sticking out there. That is where your Saharan dust layer is. There, a little bit coming up a little further north. It's also already being picked up, not quite as dense in the Caribbean and in the Gulf of Mexico itself. But when you mix water and basically sand, or the sand layer, then it absorbs the moisture, everything gets heavy and sinks down, and that's why we have not seen a June hurricane yet. But notice the moisture along the equator here, and what happens is this tries to move up, everything's moving to the west, then the mixture here just combines and it eliminates the moisture, eliminates the storm. But now right here you see a spin that's in the center of the Atlantic Ocean, and it's a 20% chance of some development of this. It's supposed to start to drift back to the south and to the southeast. So usually when they're this far out, not much happens. They're not in the area of really that's really good for development, and it's right on the top of this Saharan sand layer, and so you're seeing that backside get wiped out. Notice, I'll point this out right here along this line, and notice how much drier this section of the storm is once it comes out of that sand layer. And that's what's happening all through the Atlantic. But let me switch filters here for a moment. And this is called the microphysics selection. It's a combination of a couple of different images and some filtering. Here's our storms coming out of Oklahoma. Notice again, the ones that our local radar was showing here, they are not there. But this is starting to enlarge. And here's our system in the center, that 20% chance of development. Again, this lower area is getting trapped in the sand. Now, the reason I went here is because this light pink area that's the same as that finger I was showing you is the sand. So you've got this, and guys, coming in above it is the mixture. Notice right here of the smoke from Canada, and even 2 weeks ago we were showing it getting near the British Isles. But right here you can see a light image over Cuba that's moving our way, and along the Texas coast it's starting to build up, and here in Florida it's very light now. Look, coming down that it's going to be mixing with is that Canadian smoke. And that's one thing about these different filters that can be very handy. Now, but again, here's our Saharan sand layer moving in here in lighter amounts. But as this continues to move with the weather, we could start to see some very large buildups. Remember last year when the sky was yellow tinted? I think it's happened once this spring. But and you could go outside and you could see everything just had a different coloration, orange coloration to it, and that's not good to breathe this. So you combine that with the smoke that's coming down, things could get a little hairy. So pay attention to that, make plans for it. The normal mask, like they were trying to do for the vax, that's not what you need. They say you need the one that's got it's sealed better and it's got a little vent on the side, but you can look it up. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's a little more advanced than your normal mask. That's both for the Saharan sand and the Canadian wildfire smoke. And backing this back over most of the northern hemisphere, you can see right in this lighter area here, this is the smoke, just like this area here that we were looking at. But you can see it's already penetrating down even into Illinois and Indiana. In this area, it's in very light. As far as concentration is very light right now compared to some of this back up here. But again, we're going to have a combination, kind of a squeeze play, and it's supposed to be heating back up next week. So we got to watch that. It's going to be in the upper 80s, and then by the weekend into the 90s. And that always puts your heat index, the real feel, up way above 100, triple digits. Now, guys, this is Ryobi. It's at Home Depot. We are not affiliates of them in any way. We don't make a dime. I'm trying to help some folks out. The summer's supposed to get even hotter, and that's going to be bad. But they start at $24. This is just a little 4-inch clamp-on fan, but it comes without a battery. It says tool only. Notice that. Remember, 18-inch here, hybrid Whisper Series, tool only, $59. Now these, again, you got to have the battery. Now this one is a small 4-inch, but it comes with a battery and charger, and it goes from 24 to 59. This is what I just got, and I love them. Had them in a couple of days now. I got 2 of them. They're as expensive as a 5,000 BTU window unit, but they are 18-volt hybrid, 18-inch air cannon drug fan. Hybrid means they run off the battery, and it comes with a plug-in for your wall. So normally keep them plugged in, keep your batteries charged. If power goes out, cut on these fans. Again, 2,000 cubic feet per minute. And because of that drum shape, let's kind of click on it. Notice the depth there. The blade diameter is 16 inches, the width 24.7, but the blades have a much deeper curve because they're enclosed in a larger housing. It tilts, so you can adjust it any way you want to. You can pick it up with one hand, move it around the house or out on the deck or whatever. But they're a little more expensive. Now, they comes with the plug, but does not come with a battery. But if we have a farm, so we have probably 80% of every Ryobi tool made, drills, saws, all of the above, weed eaters, weed blowers, because with our solar system, we can keep our batteries charged even with power outages. Plus, you don't have to drag a cord around with your weed eater and weed blowers and your drills and all of that. But let me show you something else we started a couple years ago. Now, this is the bucket top 7.5-inch fan. It's round at the bottom, guys, so it sits on a 5-gallon bucket perfectly. It has a hose that drops down into your water. And on the front, there's 2 switches, one for the fan, one for the pump. Both have high and low. So if you're not using water, cut the pump off and just use it for fan. It also has an attachment on the back for a water hose. So if you don't want to set it on the bucket or you want a more continuous flow, then you can use your water hose. Watch your pressure on it. You maybe don't want to cut your water all the way up on the, but inside you don't want to use the water, but it's great for the deck or if you're working out and it's really hot, you blow in that mist on you. And they're $99 now. A couple of years ago when I got mine, I got 2, and they were $99 for 2, but they didn't come with a battery and charger. So you can find that sale at your local Home Depot. Just check it out. But if you don't have batteries, you have another option of them. You can get battery packs and a multiple battery charger. In other words, it'll hold 6 batteries at a time and keep everything going for you. Now, guys, I know I'm talking a little bit of money here, but we're talking about saving lives. Again, we don't get paid for this. The best thing that you can do, you want the fat batteries, like these 18-volt you see on the left, and they're 4 amp hours. They've got a sale. They're 2 for $99, but here with the sale days going on, you get 2 with the charger in the top for the $99, and it's called part of the free 1 tool sale. Notice in the yellow band there. So if you order it from this one, it's a $200 value, and you get to go to their free 1 tool section and pick out from dozens of hand tools and things like that for free when you get this pack here. Now, this is something else we got a couple of years ago, guys. Again, I know it's expensive, but will hold 6 batteries, 3 on each side. Check that out. It plugs into the wall or into your solar inverter if you have solar. And this one comes with 2 of their smaller batteries. They're 18-volt. They're just 2 amp hour instead of 4 amp hour batteries. See this right there? And on one end, or right here, is USB chargers for your phone and stuff like that. But this will keep 6 of your batteries hot. That means a full almost 3 days of fans when you're dealing with this. So it's just something very handy to have. It comes with a 2-pack, a 6-port charger, and they are $228. But again, that's 2 batteries of the 2 amp batteries instead of 4 amp, and the 6-pack charger, which will hold all of their size of batteries. I don't know if you can hear, my husky puppies just kicked in there. They've been outside playing and getting wet and muddy, and now I guess they're ready for the lunch. But they're getting so big and beautiful, guys. They're almost 14 weeks old, and they've learned and I think they have a little scheme going on. They all 5 will get in a circle. We homed 4, and they were 2 each. Each home got 2 pups because it really makes a transition easier for them and their pack animals. And these people I know well, and they love animals. So we got 5, but they will get in a group, and one will howl. They'll get in a circle. Then they'll all start that wolf howl. And that's, they're ready to eat. But that's what you were hearing, and Tina just went out there and taking care of that. And now they get breakfast, lunch, and supper, and they'll eat and go in their air-conditioned room and hang out. But they're wonderful. They're beautiful. I'll get a video up on that. But guys, just go to Home Depot, check it out. They have their Home Depot consumer card, things like that, to where you can spread that payment out a little bit, or maybe just get 1 fan and 1 battery. It's up to you. This is life-saving. I don't ever promote anything that I don't have or use. That's including the survival food, solar panels, all of the things that are on our website over there, water filtration. But this I don't make money off of, and it's not about that. It's about you being smart. Again, from $24 plus a $49 battery, all the way up to spending $300 or $400 and having a full home system that does not depend on your electrical power. Again, the yellow unit plugs into your wall, or if you have a small solar system, you can keep that charged with the inverter on it and keep everything hot. These type of fans, especially that 18-inch 2,000 cubic feet per minute, is a lifesaver. You put that thing in front of your chair wherever you're at in this heat, stay hydrated and cool, you'll make it. You move it easily right to your bedroom. We're watching this, guys, praying for everybody to get through this weather that's coming up. We're in the beginning of July, and we got to get through August. We're watching it, you watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.